What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers have a ton of needs this upcoming offseason, a ton of things that they need to address. Obviously, the center position is the biggest need, something that they need should be priority numero uno, right? That should be the biggest thing that they try to do. In my opinion, two centers. They need a clear-cut starting level center, and then they need a clear-cut backup center. But beyond that, you need athleticism, you need two-way guys, you need shooting. Yeah, basically need a lot of everything. And to be honest, there is an argument to be made of kind of retooling this roster entirely, right? Like kind of just, resetting the deck, kind of flushing everything down and starting all over, right? Just kind of be done with it and move on and kind of build this roster. Can you get two or three guys in free agency, right? We talked about like a DeAnthony Melton. Can you get him on a prove-it deal on a vet minimum, right? Can you maybe convince one of these other guys that maybe would get a little bit more to maybe take a taxpayer mid-level because it's like, hey, you're going to get to play alongside Luka and LeBron, be in LA, play for the Lakers, play for a championship, right? But more likely than not, most of the things that they're going to acquire to really upgrade the roster are going to come via trade, right? Lakers are going to have to be aggressive, and they're going to have to be very active in regards to trades and trying to find those moves, right? Teams aren't going to just make trades with the Lakers out of the kindness of their heart. They're not going to just, try to help the Lakers win a championship out of the kindness of their heart. But the more options that there are out there, the better that it is, the more opportunities that there are. And look, Shams, right? He even talked about how he's expecting this to be one of the busiest off seasons, one of the biggest off seasons in recent memory, if not maybe even ever. So that bodes well because the more options that are out there, the more opportunity that is out there, the more likely that it is that the Lakers are going to be able to acquire maybe not everything, but at least most of the things that they need. Again, if you can get clear 3 or 4 guys, including center options, that'd be great. But Anthony Irwin recently spoke about the Los Angeles Lakers and how they are expected to be aggressive, right, and active, and already currently active in kind of their pursuit of upgrading this roster to the level of title contention alongside Luka and LeBron James. So what he said is, as expected, Los Angeles Lakers are likely to be aggressive in upgrading at center this offseason, according to Clutch Point's Anthony Irwin. Irwin reported President of Basketball Operations, Rob Pelinka, has been especially active already and has emphasized the Lakers need centers, plural, meaning 2 centers, which is something that I have talked about repeatedly. Right? Lakers don't need to just go get. It's not enough to just go get a Nick Claxton and just be like, okay, we're done, right? Like, got Nick Claxton, we're good. What else do we need? No, you need to go get, that starting caliber center and then a clear backup center, especially with reports that Jackson Hayes is expected to depart. But again, needed centers, plural. Los Angeles had a void in the front court before it traded Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks. The problem only got worse once he left, and the deal with the Charlotte Hornets big man Mark Williams fell through. So again, kind of talking about, hey, that the Lakers are expected to be active and aggressive, particularly at the center position. Now, again, it's Lakers have the assets to get most of what they need. Right. See a lot of sentiment, a lot of conversation about Lakers are limited in assets, which they are. But are they going to be able to get the things that they want? Luckily, the Lakers, they don't need superstars. They don't need these super elite, high-end, top-end type guys. They just need kind of the key role guys, right? They need, obviously, the center position, which is something that needs to be a priority and needs to be filled. But outside of that, even guys, like I said, a DeAnthony Melton on a prove-it deal, if he can get back to being that DeAnthony Melton, right? That's an excellent slot that you could start right alongside Luka. That could be that point of attack, two-way, 3-and-D style 2-guard for you, right? Or can you go get, can you convince Chicago to trade an Io, or can you work out a sign and trade to get Jonathan Kuminga, or a Cam Johnson, or Zaire Williams, or some of these young athletes that are just out there that are kind of just floating on these teams that you can bring in and maybe give a real quality role and just kind of push the pace and just get guys that can do the dirty work, right? You look at this playoffs and really the last few playoffs, but this playoffs in particular has really highlighted just the speed and athleticism, particularly out on the perimeter. And it's just something that the Lakers don't have. And it's something I've been preaching for years now, literally, right? Like you look at this Lakers team, and before Luka, it was D'Lo, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. And it's like, where is the athletes? Where is the athleticism? You don't have anything, right? Like the rebounding issue, right? Part of the or big reason for the rebounding issue. I mean, I've broken this down like to the point on various videos, right? That the NBA is a heavy 3-point shooting league, right? And teams shoot more threes against the Lakers than most teams because Lakers don't have that perimeter defense, right? And they previously had Anthony Davis where it was like, okay, well, we could take 23s or we could take 22s and try to go over Anthony Davis, right? Let's get the threes up. Well, when a bunch of threes are being shot, you get a lot of long ball rebounds. And at that point, I just need to track down and win a foot race against D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. I can do that, right? Like that's what teams are thinking. That's what teams are looking at, right? So a lot of their defensive issues, a lot of their rebounding issues, a lot of their issues, period, can be solved just by getting athleticism, right? Just by getting some real athletes out there. You can win a lot of games on just effort, energy, and athleticism, right? You see it every year from teams. Houston can't score the basketball to save their lives, and they were the 2 seed because they just got a bunch of crazy hyper athletes, right? That are scrappy and just do everything. OKC is running literally 4 guard units, 4 guard lineups, are undersized against every team that they play against, and are running through teams because they just have a bunch of athletes and athleticism out there, right? Like Lakers, if they can get that athleticism. Lakers also have the luxury that other teams don't have, which is you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic. You have 2 top 10 players in the NBA that not only are just top 10 players and just excellent players, but are 2 of the best offensive engines in all of basketball and ever. Literally ever. Right? So those 2 alone can mask and make up for a lot, especially if Luka really is, slimming down and doing what he needs to do this offseason. So that alone, those 2 alone are going to be able to mask a lot of the issues. But some things you just can't overcome, right? Like the lack of having a center. So the Lakers, if they can land that center, right, that alone would bring, would scale up the Lakers. But if you want to be a true contender, and be one of these top, 3 to 5 teams in the NBA, you need to go get those other things. You need to get even just the athletes and athletics, get the defense, get those guys that can push out and just really kind of push the pace, right? Take a page out of these other teams' books, right? So we need to see the Lakers be aggressive. We need to see the Lakers, find those diamonds in the rough. They gotta find, a gem or 2. Right? That's really what it boils down to. Again, I say it all the time. Do not underestimate the value of a player or 2. Right? One guy in the game of basketball, other sports, not so much, but the game of basketball in particular, one guy can be all the difference. I mean, look at OKC and Alex Caruso. I mean, Alex Caruso by himself just blew that game open. Right? Like, dude, he had, at one point, Minnesota had more turnovers than they did field goals. They had 14 turnovers and 13 field goals. And Alex Caruso had like 8 or was responsible for like 8 of those turnovers, whether it was directly or indirectly, right? Just being a disruptor, right? Like one guy by himself can do so much. Look at Dallas, right? Dallas goes and is like a question mark. Like, are they gonna miss the play-in again? Like what's gonna happen, right? Like they're like hovering around between like the 9th and the 6th seed and all this stuff. And then they went and got PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford and it changed their team, right? Next thing you know, they're in the NBA Finals, right? Like, don't underestimate the value of a guy or 2, a quality guy or 2. If the Lakers can find those guys and be aggressive. But more than anything, like I said, they just need those athletes. You go from D'Lo, Reeves, and Rui to Luka, Reeves, and Rui. Oh, and by the way, now you don't have Anthony Davis to make up and mask a lot of the flaws and a lot of the defensive issues and lack of athleticism that you had. Right, so it's just the Lakers, which again got the Luka trade, right? Like as soon as you did the Luka trade, you're retooling on the fly, right? And it just you had to make that move, you had to make that trade, and then unfortunately the Mark Williams thing falls through, and it's like, oh man, like, but the Lakers now have this full offseason to really kind of figure some stuff out. You don't have to get everything at once, right? As much as I would love it, as much as we all would love for the Lakers just to kind of get everything at once. But if you can start getting the piece, like I said, get the center position locked up, and can you get, one or two, like I said, a DeAnthony Melton, and then a taxpayer mid-level hit. You got a hit on that taxpayer mid-level, right? Now all of a sudden you got 4 guys that are coming in that are going to play a key role that automatically raise the tide for the Lakers. And then you get to the trade deadline. It's like, then can you find another guy or two that can come in? And now all of a sudden, now you got, like I said, 5-6 guys that you're adding to your key rotation, top of LeBron and Luka, that now, again, it just raises. And then if you can keep a Dorian Finney-Smith, stuff like that, now you got, there's your, your 8th, 9th guy, right? Like, and it's just, now you're just so much better, deeper, more versatile of a team in that regard. So hopefully the Lakers can find that. But yes, it's good. I expect them to be aggressive. Hopefully, that's something that's around the corner. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Feel what your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you think the Lakers are going to be aggressive? Do you think they're going to be active? Do you think they won't? How do you feel either way? Love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.